This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You're greatly appreciated. This channel is for movie lovers and collectors of all type of formats: VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K, 3D, Betamax, DVD, Blu-ray, whatever, it doesn't matter. We don't do any format shaming here. On this video, I wanted to discuss what I believe is a fantastic movie, which happens to be one of my favorite genres on my favorite format. First of all, my favorite format is 3D. I'm a longtime collector, and my first format for movies was VHS. After VHS, I moved to Laserdisc. After Laserdisc, I moved to DVD and to Blu-ray. However, in 2009, something miraculous happened. First of all, my son was born. The second thing, the first movie that my wife and I actually saw in the theaters after my son was born was Avatar in 3D. I was blown away. I was blown away on how some of the scenes literally jumped off the screen and just seemed within arm's reach of it, you actually touching the movie. I love how the 3D seemed to just suck you into the story and almost vicariously put you into the movie. After Avatar, I purchased my first Panasonic 3D TV with a 3D Blu-ray player, and my first 3D movie was Avatar, and I haven't stopped collecting 3D movies since. Now, one of my favorite genres is action horror, along with science fiction and fantasy. Today, I want to discuss what I feel is one of the most underrated action horror films, 3D action horror films of all time, Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter. For some reason, there's not a whole lot of 3D horror films that were intended to be 3D. I have a lot of movies that were converted after the fact to 3D, but the main ones that were intended to be 3D are the Resident Evil franchise, Fright Night 2, the remake of Poltergeist, and a few more. It's not a whole lot. I wanted to discuss what I feel makes an epic 3D horror action film. First of all, the story, the plot. You have to have a great story. You have to have great actors that can actually deliver on the plot. Secondly, the actual 3D. Were there any pop-outs in the movie? Were there plenty of scenes where you can actually gauge the depth perception, where things are close or far away? And lastly, the sound. I'm a 7.1 stereo type of guy, so I like my sounds crisp, clear, with plenty of separations among the center, side, front, and rear channels. So this is just my opinion on the movie, my analysis. If you have your own comments or analysis on the movies, please by all means leave comments. Or if you have a 3D movie that you like, horror movies, do that in a comment also. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink, have a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. This is a 2012 American action horror film directed by Timur Bekmambetov and based on the novel of the same name by Seth Grahame-Smith, depicting a fictionalized history of the American Civil War, with the 16th president of the United States reimagined as having a secret identity as a lifelong vampire hunter, fighting against a cast of vampiric slave owners. It's produced by Tim Burton, Timur Bekmambetov, Jim Lemley, starring Benjamin Walker, Dominic Cooper, Anthony Mackie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Rufus Sewell, and Martin Sokus. Part of the story for me that makes up are the actors. The lead for this is Benjamin Walker. He resembles a young Liam Neeson. I haven't seen him in anything before or after this. He's an American actor. He's actually a stand-up comedian. He starred with Andrew Jackson in the musical Bloody Bloody Andrew Jackson, which premiered on Broadway in 2010. Next, you have Dominic Cooper, who plays Henry Sturge. Dominic Cooper is an English actor known for his portrayal of the comic book character Jesse Custer on AMC's Preacher. I've talked about this before. Fantastic show. If you haven't watched that, definitely watch Preacher. He also stars as young Howard Stark in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with appearance in Captain America: The First Avenger in 2011 and the ABC series Agent Carter from 2015 to 2016. Next, we have Anthony Mackie. He received global recognition for portraying Sam Wilson, aka Falcon, in Captain America in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, beginning the film Captain America: The Winter Soldier in 2014, and most recently starring in the Disney Plus miniseries The Falcon. You also know him in the period time crime film Detroit, and also the horror film Synchronic. The character that he plays, William Henry Johnson, is actually a real person in history. He was born March 4th, 1833, and died January 28, 1864. He was a free African American and a sometime personal valet to Abraham Lincoln. Having first worked for Lincoln in Springfield, Illinois, Johnson accompanied the president-elect to Washington, D.C. for his first inauguration in 1861. Next, I love this guy. He plays an awesome villain, Martin Paul Sokus. He plays Jack Barton in this movie. He's a New Zealand actor of film, stage, and television, a graduate of the Toi Waitakere Drama School. He's also worked extensively in Australia and Hollywood, along with his native country, and often portrays villainous roles such as Celeborn in Lord of the Rings trilogy, Yorgi in Triple X with Vin Diesel. He's also played the villain in The Equalizer, Nikolai Icheneko, aka Teddy Renson, in The Equalizer in 2014, and he also plays Quinn in the television show Into the Badlands, another great show. Next, we have Rufus Frederick Sewell, who plays Adam. He's a British actor. I didn't really recognize him, then I just a light went on. He played in Dark City back in the day with Kiefer Sutherland. He's also been in Old with M. Night Shyamalan. He's also been in other movies I haven't seen, such as Amazing Grace, The Holiday, The Tourist. He has been The Illusionist. I forgot he was actually in that also. And lastly, to round off the cast, we have Mary Elizabeth Winstead. She's an American actress. Her first major role was that of Jessica Burnett on the NBC soap opera Passions, which I've never seen before. But she came to wider attention for her roles in the horror series Wolf Lake from 2001 to 2002, the horror films Final Destination 3 in 2006, and Death Proof in 2007, and the slasher film Black Christmas in 2006. By the end of the 2000s, she gained a reputation as a scream queen. She further gained more success in her roles as John McClane's daughter in Live Free or Die, Live Free or Die Hard in 2007, and Ramona Flowers and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. And she's been in a lot of other things such as Beauty Inside, Smash, Spectacular Now, False, Alex of Venice, The Thing, remake 2011, and 10 Cloverfield Lane. Excellent movie. Now, the screenplay writer, Seth Grahame-Smith, does a beautiful job of mixing two very usually opposite genres, history and horror. He takes some of the factual events from Abraham Lincoln and intertwines the vampire lore to create this wildly creative story of one of the most recognized presidents of the U.S. and turning him into this political action Val Helsing type of protagonist. He also has based his screenplay on his best-selling historical novel and has included new elements not found within the pages of the novel. He still manages to weave in Lincoln's courtship of Mary Todd without revealing to her the nature of his nightly activities for many years, his longtime friendship with Will Johnson, his rivalry with Stephen Douglas, and the Gettysburg Address amid all the carnage of the vampire slaying. The fight scenes throughout the film employ a blend of Matrix-like martial arts moves and slow motion photography. Seth does take some liberties with the vampire lore, with vampires kind of chilling in the daytime, but with movies like The Blade, we're kind of used to daywalkers, so personally that didn't bother me at all. Now, the director, Timur, talked from the set about playing the film with 3D in mind. though he eventually made the choice to post-convert rather than shoot with 3D cameras. So this isn't one of those situations where 3D was forced on him after the fact. You can tell in several shots that he really set them up to take advantage of the third dimension. What I love about the 3D in this movie is that you don't lose any quality in the dark scenes. For some reason in 3D, and Dune is a perfect example, when they have dark scenes, everything is blurry, you just can't see it. The night scenes look horrible in a lot of 3D movies. Vampire Hunter, they're crisp, they're clear. I believe they accomplished this by having many of the night scenes in kind of this blue tint or this kind of tan sepia type of color, so you can still make all the details and it still gives that appearance of dark and a little creepy. The 3D is wonderful, has wonderful sense of depths with several pop-outs, with bullets flying straight at your face, fire embers popping off the scene, dust kicking up during the horror stampede, and just an overall beautiful picture. Now, the film theatrical aspect, the widescreen is kept in the 1080 transfer. The sound is a DTS HD Master 7.1 sound mix. It's an excellent encode feature, plenty of split sound effects channeled to the fronts and the rears. I don't want to insult anyone who's not a stereo aficionado or just not into stereos, but 7.1 is essentially where you have the front speaker, the subwoofer, you have the left, the right. When I say the front speaker, I mean the center channel. You have side channels left and right, and you have back channels. And it's for those semi-quiet scenes where it's really quiet and you hear like a bump or a vocal somewhere, and the person, your significant other you're watching it with, is like, okay, is that the movie or is there someone in the house? That kind of vibe. So that to me is just, for a horror film, to have all those elements and the sound on top of it, that's just the icing on top of the cake. Now, the Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was originally scheduled to be released in 2D and 3D on October 28, 2011, but was later pushed back to June 22, 2012. The movie premiered in New York City on June 18th. Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter also made an unconventional debut with a screening for troops deployed in the Middle East. The movie was screened to over 1,800 sailors aboard the Navy aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln, very just before its refueling and complex overhaul at Newport News, Virginia. So the film stars attended the screening, including Anthony Mackie, Aaron Watson, Benjamin Walker, who dressed in character as Abraham Lincoln. The screening marks the first time that a major motion picture made its debut for the United States service members. And lastly, I have my actual physical copy of Abraham Lincoln Vampire 3D. Slide this out here. Very nice slipcover. Nice little sheen to it. And you have the 3D version, the Blu-ray, as well as the digital copy. Now, if you made it this far in the video, smash the like, give me the big thumbs up, ring the bell, leave some comments. If there's a horror 3D movie that you like me to comment on, leave it in the comment section. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Don't forget to subscribe. Deuces.